Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with more NCAA women's basketball news. As you already know by now, there's finally down to the Final Four. Very exciting, very good matchups, and I'll get into that right now. So Texas and South Carolina will be playing on Friday, as well as UCLA versus UConn and Tampa for the Ultimate Women's Championship. So we'll see how those play out, and I'll give my predictions here as far as these games go. Now, Texas and South Carolina game will be interesting just because of the matchups, I believe. So the overwhelming experience goes to South Carolina, but Texas does have Madison Booker and Rory Harmon, very experienced players. I believe Madison Booker is going to be the ultimate decider of this game. If South Carolina and Don Staley can figure out a way to neutralize her, I think Texas becomes one dimensional. Now, Madison Booker, the biggest question is who will guard her. Madison Booker has a unique skill set. I always compare her to Kevin Durant, or the WNBA comparison would be a Jonquel Jones, because she's very tall, but she's very athletic, can dribble, can put the ball on the floor, can shoot, score from anywhere. Very talented, multifaceted, very, it's a lot of dimensions to her. So she's very talented in that way. And I don't think South Carolina has one player that can necessarily guard her. Their best defender is probably, Joyce Edwards or the center that they have, but she can't go out and guard Madison Booker out on the perimeter. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can neutralize her from a team defensive standpoint. Like I said previously, South Carolina has more depth, and Texas must prevent South Carolina from running the floor. They've been having a lot of scoring issues lately. So can Texas kind of neutralize them and keep them down to a half court game instead of them running the court? Rory Harmon will need a big game in this game, and Texas also needs to protect the basketball, because we know what South Carolina can do with turnovers. They can turn those into easy points, and that's something you don't want to do against that talented, experienced, well-coached team. I think Oldacre for Texas is an X factor in this game. She's been very good in the post, getting rebounds, being a presence on the defensive end. But I believe if she can put up anywhere double-digit points, it's going to be a tough game for South Carolina, especially with the lack of scoring that they had recently. So if Oldacre gets off to a great start or gets anything productive from Texas, it's going to be very interesting for South Carolina. But ultimately, I think South Carolina has too much depth, and I think they have too much experience, and they also have the coaching advantage with the better coach. So I think South Carolina will pull that matchup out. And then next we have UCLA, UConn, another big matchup of the big. So it's going to be Sarah Strong, the rookie, with a freshman against Lawrence Betts, who's the seasoned veteran. She's projected to go to the league this year or next year, but she's very experienced, very talented. One of the bigger players that they have in the women's basketball game right now, or in the game period, when you compare the men's basketball as well. But it's going to be about Paige Becker. She's been on this huge scoring run, 30-point games. She's on the road with those. But I think if Lauren Betts has a dominant game against Sarah Strong, it will bode well for UCLA. But they're going to need other pieces as well, because with Aziza Fudd and uh, with Paige Beckers and with Sarah Strong, they have a lot of depth as well. Their starters are very productive, but I think if UCLA slows up on the scoring, it's not going to be good. They're going to have to get Kiki Rice going. They're going to get some of these other veterans going. But it's going to be a tough game. But I think UConn has the advantage, of course, in the coaching matchup with Gino Ariema being a legendary coach. And I think he can make adjustments to the game, especially from first half to second. And he will be able to make those adjustments. But I think UCLA will need a big game, like I said previously, from Lauren Betts and Kiki Rice, and they need to neutralize Paige Beckers. And if they can do that, they'll be successful. But UConn will need Sarah Strong to be productive and neutralize Lauren Betts. And it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be very competitive. But I have to take UConn to win this matchup just because of Gino Ariema and his ability to make adjustments, and having a superstar in Paige Beckers, and then having the sensational freshman, the best freshman big woman in the game right now, in Sarah Strong, who can not only post you up and has nice footwork, but she can shoot threes and shoot around the perimeter as well. So that will be the advantage and the neutralizer of UCLA. I do believe if Juju Watkins didn't go down, this would have been a rematch of USC and UCLA, but unfortunately we didn't get the chance to see that matchup. But this is what we have now. So I have in the finals, I have UConn against South Carolina, and I'll be making my predictions closer toward the end of this weekend. So stay tuned. Thanks for tuning into another Urban School podcast. And until next time, as always, I'll see you next time.